There is a type of person who seems to live in a time zone of their own, a realm where the hands of the clock are only suggestions, never laws. You invite them to dinner at 8 and, when you arrive, at 7:50, you find them already sitting at the table, glass of water in hand, looking at their cell phones with an expression that mixes patience and resignation. Am I too early? They ask, although they know very well that the answer is always yes. But why this obsession with advance notice? Why turn every appointment into a lonely wait, as if the world were perpetually late and only they knew the real time of things? It's not just punctuality. Punctuality is arriving on time. This here is something else. It's arriving when the waiters are still arranging the cutlery, when the host has barely had time to take a shower, when the party is still just an idea hanging in the air, like a balloon that no one has inflated. Some call it anxiety, others call it overeducation, but the truth is that behind this habit there is an emotional architecture as complex as the Swiss watches these people probably wear. Perhaps they learned, as children, that being late is an unforgivable sin. A father who would go out and slam the door when his son took too long in the bathroom. A mother who repeated, like a mantra, "Those who are not seen are not remembered," transforming every minute of delay into a personal betrayal. The brain internalizes, if I'm not there before, I'm invisible. And so, advance becomes armor. It's not about schedules, it's about fear of disappearing. Or it could be the opposite, a desperate desire to control the uncontrollable. In a world where anything can go wrong, traffic, other people's moods, your own luck, arriving early is the only certainty. It's like holding the reins of a wild horse. At least this, I dominate. The line at the bank, the traffic jam, the waiter's delay, none of this takes them by surprise because they are already there, waiting for the chaos before it arrives. It's a way of saying, I know the world is unpredictable, but I am predictable. I am reliable. I am the rock. And there are those for whom arriving early is a form of love. Love for others, for the idea of not making anyone wait, of not being a burden. These are the people who arrive half an hour early at the airport because, deep down, they believe that other people's time is more valuable than their own. They sit in the parked car, listening to low music, glancing at the clock every 2 minutes, not out of anxiety but out of silent devotion. If I'm late, I'll be stealing a piece of someone's life, they think. And so, they transform each wait into an act of solitary generosity. But there is a dark side to this equation. Because always arriving early can also be a symptom of loneliness. Whoever arrives first is the one who spends the most time alone. She is the one who watches others arriving, laughing, hugging, while she is already there, a spectator of her own life. Sometimes it's as if they're saying, if I get there early enough, maybe someone will notice I exist before the crowd swallows me up. And so, advance notice becomes an emotional survival tactic, a way of ensuring that, at least for a few minutes, the world revolves around them even if it's just because they're the only ones in the place. And then there is the most poetic hypothesis of all, they arrive early because they love backstage. While everyone only sees the show, they want to see how things are put together. The smell of coffee being prepared, the sound of chairs being dragged, the light still on in the dressing rooms. Arriving early is like reading the prologue of a book before the story begins. It is a privilege reserved for those who are in no hurry to live, just to be present. If you are one of these people, no, you are not boring, nor are you too rigid. You are someone who understands, deep down, that life is not just about the moments marked on the calendar, but about the intervals between them. About the calm before the storm, the silence. I.O. before the music, breathing before the dive. And if the world thinks you arrive too soon, it's because the world hasn't yet learned that the best moments are those that happen when no one else is looking. So next time you arrive before everyone else, don't apologize. Don't diminish your presence. Instead, take advantage of this extra time. Notice the details that others will miss. Take a deep breath. And remember, you are not just waiting for others. You are living a moment that is yours alone. And if this makes sense to you, tell me in the comments, are you also one of those who always arrive early? Or do you know someone like that? Share this text with anyone who needs to hear that it's okay to be the first to arrive. Sometimes, that's precisely what makes you unforgettable. And if you want more reflections like this, don't forget to subscribe. Until next time. Oh, and this time, I promise not to be late. The art of arriving early, the power of invisible breaks. Have you ever noticed how the greatest moments in life, those that we keep in our memories like jewels, almost never happen at the scheduled time? They appear in the spaces between things. In the conversation that takes place while the coffee cools. In the silence that precedes laughter. Take a deep breath before the first step. Those who arrive early are not just early. It is presentifying time. Because life is not just made of events, but of the invisible threads that sew them together. What the advanced chroniclers know, and the world still doesn't understand. 1. The world works in justified delay mode. Society rewards those who show up on time, or, actually, those who show up late with a good excuse. Meetings start 15 minutes later than scheduled. Parties only heat up when half of the guests have arrived. So, who arrived early? He looks silly, as if he had messed up the script. But here's the secret. They didn't get anything wrong. They are just operating on a different frequency, that of strategic anticipation. 2. The magic of dead times, that are not dead. While others race against the clock, those who arrive early enjoy the luxury of observation. They see the waiter adjusting the cutlery before the restaurant fills up. Listen to the event's opening playlist, the one that no one pays attention to anymore. They smell the place before it is taken over by the perfume of others. These are details that disappear when the crowd arrives, and that, ironically, make the experience unique. 3. Arriving early is an act of quiet rebellion. In a world that glorifies rushing as a sign of importance, stopping to arrive early is a protest against collective anxiety. It's not about punctuality. It's about refusing to live in firefighting mode. It's not rigidity. It's self-control, the ability to not let other people's chaos dictate your pace. And that, my friend, is revolutionary. The science behind first-come habits. Psychology studies reveal that people who consistently arrive early share surprising traits. Low tolerance to stress due to unpredictability. Being late triggers the same threat response in them that a lion would trigger in our ancestors. Their brain associates delay with danger, and therefore, anticipating means surviving. Greater ability to save a life, savoring. Research from the University of California shows that those who arrive early derive more pleasure from everyday moments. While others are worried about arriving, they are already absorbing the experience. Sharp emotional intelligence. Arriving early allows you to read the environment before taking action. They are the people who notice the mood in the room, adjust their approach and, without realizing it, control the flow of interactions. In other words, it is not fresh. It's strategy. The dark side, when arriving early becomes a trap. But be careful, every superpower has its kryptonite. The anxiety of what if I get in the way? Often, the habit of arriving. Early air is born from an unconscious fear. If I'm not there sooner, something will go wrong. And then, anticipation becomes a prison. The burden of always being responsible. In groups, whoever arrives first ends up taking on logistics, reserving a table, organizing others. Punctuality becomes unpaid work. The loneliness of pioneers. There are times when arriving early means waiting alone. And, in a hyper-connected world, being alone even if by choice is still misunderstood. How do you know if you're at your limit? Ask yourself, do I arrive early because I want to enjoy it, or because I'm afraid of missing out? If the answer is the second, it's time to rethink. How to turn your punctuality into a superpower, without becoming a hostage to it. 1. Arrive early, but don't be the first to leave. Take advantage of the first 10 minutes to observe, breathe, prepare. Then, allow yourself to relax into the flow. You don't have to be the last one to leave, just don't be the one who runs away before the magic happens. 2. Use the extra time to create rituals. Before a meeting, write down 3 things you want to happen. Before a date, take a deep breath and set an intention, e.g. today, I will listen more. Turn waiting into preparation. 3. Let others find you. Instead of hiding, I don't want to bother you, occupy the space naturally. Did you arrive at the bar early? Order your drink, sit in a strategic place and let them see you. Presence attracts presence. 4. Sometimes allow yourself to be on time. Break the pattern to avoid becoming a robot. Arriving 5 minutes later than the scheduled time, without actually being late, can be an exercise in flexibility. A final reflection: time is not a clock, it's a river. The obsession with schedules makes us forget that time is not linear. It flows, accelerates, slows down, and the best moments happen in the curves, not on the banks. Those who arrive early understand that life is not a sequence of destinations, but the journey itself. And deep down, everyone wants that, they just don't know how to stop running to realize it. So next time you're the first to arrive, don't apologize. Don't justify. Enjoy the privilege of watching the world prepare for you. And tell me, what was the best thing that happened because you arrived early? I've had conversations, opportunities, and even love that started like this. If this text made sense, share it with those who are always waiting for you. And if you want more reflections on the power of breaks, turn on notifications, because the next idea may arrive sooner rather than later. Winking face. Until then. And this time, I promise, I won't be early or late. I will arrive, on time. Hourglass with flowing sand.